Hey everybody, this is Mike coming at you with another product review. This is the motherboard for my Katy Lake 2017 build. This is the Asus Maximus 9 Hero. It's a ATX form factor, which is 12 inch by 9.6 inches. This is an ROG series board, the Republic of Gamers. And in my opinion, even if you're not a gamer, these are the boards that enthusiasts want to get because they're more hardened for overclocking, heat, power. Everything is just upgraded from a consumer level board. ROG was founded in 2006 and the temporary name was Project G. If anybody remembers, the logo kind of looked like GTV's little squares that formed the letter G. It's kind of silly looking. And in December of 2006, an Athlon processor broke the frequency record on an Asus ROG board, the Asus AN32. Asus knew what they had, so they rehauled the brand in 2008 and specifically built all sorts of hardware geared towards the enthusiast market. So if you're a geek and a computer builder and an enthusiast, there's only two manufacturers that you're going to go to, in my opinion, Asus and Gigabyte. And I prefer Asus. I think they've got the smartest engineers right now, and I have never had any trouble with their hardware. Some of the things that are significant to this motherboard we'll go through now. So one of the most significant features, in my opinion, are the MOSFETs and the chokes. They're in this area right here around the CPU. In the old days, this was a source of complete headaches for enthusiasts because motherboards would blow for running too much power into the North Bridge. And that has since been alleviated with these Texas Instruments NexFET MOSFETs. That's a trade name, NexFET, and alloy chokes for the capacitors all along in here. So when you're overclocking and sending more power into this area that it was designed to accommodate, this will not be a weak point. And again, this is one of the major reasons why I use Asus boards. This Asus motherboard features a Intel Z270 chipset. On the Skylake versions of these boards, the Hero 8, for instance, it was codenamed Z170. This is the update, Z270. There's not a lot of difference between the Z170 and Z270 chipset, but it's just the latest generation that Asus put on this board. Of course, this is going to be a socket 1151, and in a change for Asus, this board will only support 6th and 7th gen processors. So if you want to buy a processor for this particular board, you have to buy a Skylake or Katy Lake 6th or 7th generation processor from Intel, which for the enthusiast market, that doesn't mean anything. We're buying the latest and greatest anyway, so there's no way I'm going to put a 3rd generation Core i3 in this board. It would be a complete waste of money. Down here on the lower part of the board, you can see the Supreme FX audio codec. That's the S1220, and it also ties in with the Sonic Studio 3 software that Asus provides for this motherboard. On the back side here, I'll get a better picture of the I/O in a minute, but on the back side we've got the Intel i219V Gigabit Ethernet, which comes with Asus's LAN guard, which supposedly has low packet loss. I'm not so sure that's achievable, but you know, it's there. Interesting change between last year's model and this year's model is this has dual M.2 slots for boot drives, which obviously if you have two, you can boot it in RAID and significantly increase what's already a speedy drive. And in the Kaby Lake 2017 build, we're going to use this Samsung NVMe 960 EVO drive, just one of them, to get that throughput that we're trying to achieve. It's an M-key drive, and one of the upgrades to the chipset this year, the Z270 chipset, is Intel's Octane Memory Ready, which nobody seems to know a whole lot about, but apparently there's a speed increase on the chipset with that Octane. On the RAM side, we've got 4 slots for DDR4 in dual channel mode, up to 4133 megahertz. Can't imagine why anybody in the world would need that kind of frequency, but it's there if you need it. It's unbuffered memory. Also supports Intel's Extreme Memory Profile, XMP profile. So underneath this cardboard piece are the 6 gigabit SATA ports. This board also features multi-GPU 16-lane PCI Express slots, PCIe 3.0, with 1x scattered through there as well. There are 1 HDMI connectors in the back for onboard video, 1 DisplayPort 1.2. Those max resolutions are 496 by 2160, and this board also supports 4K Ultra HD displays, and that's built onto the chipset of the i7 7700. Maximum shared memory of 1024 megabytes or a gigabit of shared memory on that onboard video. So let's take a look at the I/O panel on the side of the board. So on the back side of the board we have the usual USB connections, gigabit Ethernet, DisplayPort, HDMI, USB 2.0. This is USB 3.0. This is USB 3.1, and that's the smaller connector for USB 3.1. We also have onboard audio, center channel, left and right front, left and right rear, and subwoofer, and optical audio out, which is what I've been using for years. I've been using optical audio out for years. This right here is a keybot button to update the BIOS from a USB stick, and of course a reset button right there.